Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight for the Rock for Recovery virtual event, where we're going to give you daily spotlights on agencies providing recovery and supportive services in our community. We're going to have weekly testimonials from individuals in recovery, which is what we're doing tonight. And then we're also going to have a candlelight vigil that's going to be held on October 28th at 7 p.m. My name is Amanda Suarez. I've been a member of the Substance Misuse Task Force, which was formerly the Heroin Task Force, since I think about last year at this time. I believe that helping people in recovery is important because people in recovery are important. And tonight, I am super excited to introduce you to somebody. This is Mr. Andre Sims. So Andre is going to be one of our individuals in recovery that we're going to learn a lot from tonight. So Andre, would you mind kind of sharing a little bit with everybody about kind of how you got to this point?
Well, first of all, I'm Andre Sims. I'm a recovering addict. I'm 54 years old. I have been through a lot in my life. I took that stepping stone to want to change. I'm a former graduate from drug court, successfully completed. Had some ups and downs, but I completed it. It was a program that's hard to complete, but I completed it. And I'm here today to do a testimony to share with Amanda.
Thank you so much for being here, Andre. I really appreciate it. And I know the community is going to really appreciate hearing from you. Can you tell me a little bit about how your use started?
Well, I started by coming up in high school. I started out smoking weed.
Okay.
I thought weed was a chemical that to make me happy and make me, move forward, but it didn't. It also enhanced my drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
But I graduated high school smoking weed and, went to school, went to college, still smoking weed. Then I came home from college. I had a family, got introduced to something more than weed, which was crack cocaine. And as that enhanced it, I moved on further on down to another stepping stone, which was heroin. And at the age of 36, it might be moving a little forward, but I got introduced to that and started using that.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. What led you to seeking out treatment this last time?
Well, I graduated a program which was up at Care Villa, and I thought I had it, which I didn't. The change of coming out of the program and being a successful father, which I didn't have it. I graduated Care Villa programs up at Care Villa with the halfway house, and the same day I got out, the same day I relapsed. And so I had overdosed. It's something I'm not ashamed to share with the community. Was found on the side of the road, and the man found me and saved my life. And I ended up seeing my agent later and got locked up and was introduced to some more help, which was facing more prison time. But obviously, I didn't go to prison because I went to a hearing and they decided not to revoke my parole, which allowed me another ATR, which allowed me to go into a program called drug court.
Okay. How was that process for you? Do you feel like that was a hard process for you to get into drug court, or was it fairly easy?
Well, it was hard because I thought I was going to prison. I thought I wasn't going to get any more help. I thought that they was going to send me to prison, which is hard to get when you're in prison,
right?
Because it's overcrowded. You can't get the help that you actually really need. And so I went to a revocation hearing, and the administrative judge did see prison was the best setting for me. He gave me an opportunity to go into the drug court program. which gave me more opportunities to change my life.
Mm-hmm. Good. How many treatment programs had you been in prior to drug court?
It ain't a treatment program that I hasn't been in. I've been in every program that you could probably name in this around this area, Rock County area.
Okay.
Uh, inside settings, outside settings, and still was successful in them. Always failed.
Mm-hmm.
I always failed because I did change. I didn't want change at the time. Um, so once I accepted change and realized who the people that I was hurting really was my family and my kids, I accepted change after I got into the drug court program.
What do you think was different this last time for you?
Well, it gave me the opportunity to look at life. Um, Before I went into the program, I got a job. I started working, and I started seeing the responsibilities that I needed to take care of, which was my kids with child support,
Mm-hmm.
supporting myself, and facing a homeless situation is painful to face. So I stepped up and I took ownership within myself to say it's time to change. And once I accepted it was time to change, I was working a third shift job, getting off work and going into my recovery, which is drug court. Um, and they gave me some tools to identify the problem that I was facing. And
Mm-hmm.
once I identified the problem I was facing, I changed those problems. And the problems was people I was surrounded with. And some of them was family, some of them was friends, some of them was over neighborhoods. And once I isolated myself away from those things, I started to see a life. And once I started to see a life, I started to see the joy and the happiness that I see with my family and my kids. And I started to see that I could work for a living and have the things that I want in life. And once I started seeing those things, I accepted change more powerful and wanted to change more and more and more for working as a working for a living.
Nice. So it sounds like work was really powerful for you, and really getting rid of kind of those negative influences was a huge part of it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Kind of speaking about family members, did you have any like family members or close friends that you felt like really supported you in your recovery?
Yes, all my sisters were supportive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that I got locked up, um, they was there for me. And then every time they was there, I got out. Um, I went back into the same behavior that won't change. And I got locked up so much, well, I lost trust in them. And once I lost trust in them, they all gave me this attitude called tough love, this word called tough love. I'm not going to be there for you anymore. We done with you. And once you behind bars and you don't have no family and support, you don't have nothing in your canteen box, you don't have deodorant, nothing to wipe up under your arms, or nothing like that, that will make anybody want to change, And once I see the hurt and heard their voices over the phone and the pain that I was causing them, I hung up the phone that last time for one free minute. And that one free minute made me go to the room and came to reality. It's time. It's enough. It's enough. I'm not only hurting myself, I'm hurting them too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when they let me out of Rock County Jail that day, I was so anxious to go into drug court program to get the tools that I really needed to change my life. And once I got in there, I accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
That program helped me change my life, and I respect that program 100%.
Thank you. How did your family help and support you when you were going through that program, and when were active or still are actively in recovery? So how are they?
Well, see, when I was on the bracelet at a TLP place, and I found a job, and they see the difference in me. And then once they see the difference in me, they started coming back into my life. And then a family allowed me to come live with them to get the braces off my legs so I can have a positive lifestyle. And I kept moving forward and moving forward and moving forward. And things started to come in my way successfully as working for a living. That was the number one key, finding a job and holding a job. And then after I started to, seeing cashing your own checks is meaning a lot to me, that I had to ask people for nothing. I could get the things that I actually really need. And plus I was in recovery too. It allowed me to move forward. And the tools that I was getting from the program showed me how to finance my money, which I already did, but they gave me some tools to put your money up and save, and you can have things in your life. And once I started doing that, my life started coming back. Things that I started seeing in life was successful.
Right.
In my recovery too, is being sober and clean. And once I isolated myself around the old friends and the community that I was involved in, I started having things, and things started coming to me day by day.
Mm-hmm. Right, because you worked for them and you were, doing what you needed for your recovery. Absolutely. So one of the questions that some community members posed, and I want to get your take on, is how can family members be more supportive to people, or not, maybe not even more supportive, but just supportive in general to their loved ones who are in recovery?
Will you repeat that again?
Sorry. How can family members be more supportive to their loved ones while they're going through their treatment and recovery?
Well, the family can open the door, and they only can move. They only can do so much. They don't have no control of you once you're out of sight. Once you're out of sight, they don't have no control of it. But you can't hide the addiction from your family. You can't hide the addiction because of the behavior. So once your family started to see that you're moving forward and your behavior is still positive, they will be more stronger with you. But me, as being an addict and being so abusive and so angry and stuff like that, my behavior changed right away, and they instantly know. So once they identified that, they rejected me right away. But ever since I've been in the program and stuff, and I started moving forward because it's something that I didn't have in a long time. I bought me a car. I found me a beautiful lady, and she's been supportive to me. And when I look down on stuff, I have somebody to talk to. That's my girlfriend, Deborah Cousins, and she give me some tools to not to give up. She sat down and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and if I'm right, I'm right. And she's not no two-sided person. She tells me if I'm wrong. And so that's some type of relationship that I didn't have when I was using. I was so powerful, dominated over my relationships. I didn't allow them to do that for me. But sober and clean, and I sit down and I got a better understanding with my life. I'd accept feedback, positive feedback, whether good or bad, and we work with it together.
Yeah. I like that. You're saying kind of getting that support, but also not somebody who's just going to tell you yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you do it, you got somebody in that life to accept that yes. That means you become more addictive.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. And then did you decide to use any medication assisted treatment while you were in the program? And if so, how did that help you?
Well, it's like I said, this word, when I was going to the program, it's called triggers and cravings. And triggers and cravings can be pops up any given moment. Old friends that I look at, triggers, cravings. So I sat down one day and I talked to my counselor, and me and her sit down and I asked her, what can I do about these triggers and cravings? And she introduced it and said, well, it's a viral shot that we could try, and maybe this will work. And so I accepted the viral shot. And once I got on the viral shot and I got to, taking them, my whole desire and cravings and triggers did not hit me anymore. And so I stayed on the viral shot and it became helpful to me. The way I think it gave me my eating pattern good. It allowed me to look at things more powerful, more straight. I didn't have any cravings. And so I recommend any opiate person that uses any opiates to take the shot because it's powerful. You're going to hear so many different negative things about it, but my recommendation, it made me successful, and I'm still successful as being sober and clean.
Okay, good. And for those of you who don't know what Vivitrol is, so it's a medication called naltrexone that will block any opiates from getting into your system. So it can really be helpful with overdose prevention because people know that they can't take any opiates on it. It really helps with triggers and cravings, like Andre just explained. So it can be a really good option for some people. Andre, how do you think the community viewed you as someone with a substance use problem?
When I was using, the community viewed me as a negative person that they did not want to be around. They did not want me to be around. I had relationships where I tried to get into relationships and never succeeded because of the community. I destroyed myself and in the community because my addiction. Mm-hmm. And I'm so much of a change now that when people see me now, I don't walk nowhere anymore. I look better than what I used to look in the past. And people in the community now look at me as like, is that Andre? And that's a blessing because I did destroy my life. I did destroy my life. And a lot of people probably still say, oh, it's a matter of time. But I don't focus on what other people say. I focus on me, and I take one day at a time. And I work a good job. And I have a beautiful home. And I don't walk nowhere. I have my own car. I got permission to drive with my agent. I have valid driver license and insurance. And a lot of people look at me now, it's like, you have really changed. You're a different person. And that gives me a positive feedback, how I used to be. Mm-hmm. And then give me the motivation to keep moving forward. And I share out in the community when I talk to people. I don't judge other people. I speak with people that positive way on change, on changing their life. Mm-hmm. And the goal that I have set now is one day I want to be able to open the door and speak to a lot of people about the addiction. And I still haven't gave up on that goal yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, Andre, you're good at doing that.
That's what I get ready to say.
Yeah.
Reaching out.
Yeah.
Pray for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody.
Yeah. And so, Andre, then the last question I have for you, which I think you've already really hit a lot on, but I do want to hear is what advice would you give to other people who are starting their journey on recovery? They may be kind of struggling with whether or not they want to be in recovery.
The advice that I want to give to people is to change the family, not all family and friends, the old neighborhoods, and focus on your recovery and pray and take one day at a time and rebuild trust within yourself and rebuild change within yourself and accept change. And once you accept change, your life will be more powerful. Mm-hmm. Change is not easy. And I went through that change. And believe me, I am here. I'm out. You can see me one day riding around in the community. Open mouth to sit down and share all the tools that I have to help you change. I don't have no control what you do after we have the one-on-one talk, but I am here to give positive feedback. And the recommendation that I have is to be safe, watch out for the overdoses, watch out for the COVID out here in the world. So you're facing two things out here right now. It's something to actually really look into, because if you got drugs in your system and you got COVID, it's not gonna come. It's a bad combination. It's a bad combination. So I just, it's a friend that going through that cycle right now, and I talk to him on a one-on-one basis. Today over the phone, I can't talk to him because he isolating himself because of the COVID. But I share I work every day, and I have a certain time that I call and check to see how he's doing, and he's doing all right so far. So
good. So you're offering that kind of advice and that support to other people.
right.
And one last thing that I didn't ask you before that I want you to share, you haven't shared it yet, is how long have you been sober now, Andre?
Whew. That's almost. See, you should have had me. I had to look into my book. Almost went on 2 years.
Hey, that's amazing.
18, 19 months.
I wish I had more people. I would clap.
Yeah. No uses after my graduation. No uses.
That's
Powerful. Blessed.
mm-hmm.
Full-time job. Happy. I reach out every day to everybody, and my goal is basically answered because I'm doing an interview over the phone right now. God bless you. God bless you. I pray for all my friends and families out there to take one day and accept change. Once you accept change, change will follow through.
Well, Andre, thank you so much for doing this interview and taking your time to talk with people. I know that I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that everybody else is going to appreciate it just as much. And I can't emphasize enough how incredible you are in your journey. So I really appreciate you being here. I just want to say thank you to everybody for listening to us tonight. Please keep joining us for our Rock for Recovery virtual event. Every night we're going to have sponsors and vendors, resources that could be potentially used. And then every week a testimonial from a person in recovery. And don't forget about that candlelight vigil on the 28th of October. That should be really nice. So thank you, everybody. And thank you so much, Andre. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.